Okay, day 5 and last day Kennedy Space Center. ఇంటి దగ్గర నుంచి ఆల్మోస్ట్ 1 hour డ్రైవ్ పూర్తిగా.
నేను ఇప్పుడు 50% నువ్వు తీసుకోవచ్చు. సో నేను అది మ్యాక్స్.
ఓకే నాసా రాకెట్
చేస్తారు కాదు.
Who wants to be astronaut?
Daddy don't want to. Mais ça sert à rien. Mais non.
Welcome to the Kennedy Space Center. We've been looking for you. You made it from all over the world. You're here from all over the world to the only place in the whole wide world. America went to the moon 9 times. Apollo 8, 10, and 13 we did not land. We landed 6 times. And only 12 in all the world to this day have ever walked on the moon. Only an apple over there. Kennedy Space Center over here. Apples and oranges divided by the Banana River. Gets its name because it looks like a big blue banana and because of all the wild banana trees growing along the riverbank. This is subtropical Florida. Now we have a little cold snap this morning. Makes me feel surprised. Celebrating my 30th anniversary of my 40th birthday. Where I just happened to work for 30 years, not for NASA, but Florida Light was right across the river. Locally we call it the Indian River, that is the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway. I was an instrument technician over there for 30 years for Florida Crown Light, calibrating, maintaining all that delicate instrumentation as a power. 3 of those real small cabbage palms. Go home, fry up some mullet, cook up what we have. Well, you could do that, but it's a southern tradition to eat these. This is a busy time, you know, a lot of people come here during this time of the year. But there's so much to see and do, and we are open till 8 o'clock tonight, so if you...
Just ahead is one of the world's largest buildings by volume, the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. It was built for the Apollo program in the 1960s and stands 525 feet or 160 meters high. The American flag you see on the front is 21 stories tall. The VAB is where everything comes together before a launch. The Apollo and Space Shuttle vehicles were assembled for flight in the VAB. This is where the ground controllers, engineers, and launch director monitor the spacecraft and manage all the activities leading up to launch.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I present to you this morning the tallest one-story building in all the world, the Vehicle Assembly Building. When this building is a 325-ton lifting hook. To operate that hook, the operators pass one little test. Lower it from the top of the building down to the ground floor, set it on top of a raw egg. Don't crack the shell, you pass the test. Crack the shell, you know you better take that test over. On the east side and west side of this building are the tallest doors in the world. They're called high bay doors. High bay 1 and 3 on the east side, high bay 2 and 4 here on the west side of the building. These high bay doors open up with 11 movable panels to a height of 456 feet. The tallest doors in the world. While the Statue of Liberty from pedestal to torch, 305. Slip it through one of those doors of 151 foot. Let go once. They call them that because they will lift you up. Franz just went through a 3-year state-of-the-art upgrade. It can lift 18 million pounds now. Here's the way it would work. All the launch vehicles that were assembled in that big building were rolled out to one of our 2 launch pads with one of these 2 crawler transporters. One of the crawler transporters would drive up underneath one of 3 mobile launch platforms. This is an MLP to the front of the bus. It weighs 8.2 million pounds. It sits on 6 pedestals 22 feet above the ground. One of the 2 crawler transporters would drive up underneath one of these 3 mobile launch platforms, lift it up off of those pedestals, take it in that big building, set it on 6 pedestals, and back it out of the building. In past years, they would assemble a big moon rocket or a space shuttle on top. When it was time to go to the launch pad, one of the 2 crawler transporters would go in, lift it up, slow roll out to the launch pad at a half a mile an hour. It took 6 to 8 hours to go 3.4 miles out to A, 4.2 miles over to B. These 2 launch pads are 8,716 feet apart, about 1.6 miles apart. Once at the launch pad, we had to go for 5% grade, keeping the big moon rocket or the space shuttle perfectly vertical as we went up that 5% grade. They tell us the top of the moon rocket or the space shuttle did not move any more north, south, east, or west than the width of a basketball. SRB stands for Solid Rocket Booster. MLP, that's a mobile launch platform. You're riding on a BUS, and TOM is your tour escort this morning. I got about 1.5 chuckles out of that one. For those of you who weren't paying attention, I do that to see if you're paying attention. But don't worry about it. If you weren't paying attention, let me tell you how broke I was one time. And I was really broke. I was so broke I couldn't pay attention. I can clarify that for you with 3 little initials. LBJ. Lyndon Baines Johnson simply said in a meeting in Texas, just where in Texas we're going to put mission control. The rest is in the history book. Now, when we rolled out a big moon rocket during the Apollo days, we had over 18 million pounds mobile. So we built this special track. We're driving across it right now. It's called the Crawler Way. Crawler Way. We dug down 7 feet deep. We took out all the mud, came up with different layers of hydraulic fill, compact fill, limestone. The top 5 to 10 inches, that's Alabama River rock, comes from the Tennessee River that flows through Alabama. We give both Tennessee and Alabama credit for this non-sparking river rock. That's 40 foot of gravel, 50 foot of grass median, 40 foot of gravel, 130 feet wide. Now, every astronaut that walked on the moon, just 12 in the whole wide world, they drove right down this road. We're following in the footsteps of those moonwalking, history-making astronauts. All 12 moonwalkers left right here from one launch pad 39A. So if you remember, 9 times we went to the moon. Apollo 8, 10, and 13, we didn't land. We landed 6 times. Every time we landed, we left a beautiful American flag proudly on the moon. 6 American flags proudly left on the moon. And we brought back 6 boxes of rocks, totaling 841.6 pounds of soil samples and moon rocks. They're the rarest rocks on Earth. Let you watch a video about it.
It was constructed for the Apollo program and is where all 12 moonwalkers began their historic journeys. You'll learn more about the Apollo program when you get to the Apollo Saturn V Center. Following the end of the Apollo program, Pad 39A was the site that launched Skylab, the first U.S. space station to orbit the Earth, on May 14, 1973. Skylab provided America's initial experience with long-duration spaceflight. During 1973 and 1974, 3 Skylab crews were launched on missions of 28, 59, and 84 days.
Atlas 5's lead from 41, vertically integrated in the building close to the launch pad, called the VIB, Vertical Integration Building. There's Pad 40, those 4 towers. That's where Elon Musk launches his Falcon 9 rocket. They call it the Falcon 9 because it has 9 Merlin engines. Come up into the gap, Pad 37B, 37A never was built. That's where your Delta 4s leave from, right there, Pad 37B. Now the Delta 4 is horizontally integrated in the building close to the launch pad called the HIP, H-I-P, Horizontal Integration Facility. There we go with those TLAs again. Now everybody on the driver's side of the bus, you'll get the first photo opportunity. On the return trip from the launch pads, everybody on the passenger side of the bus will get an equal photo opportunity. With a mobile launch platform on top. Mobile launch platform weighs 8.2 million pounds. The crawler transporter weighs 6 million pounds. So you're looking at over 14 million pounds right there. We don't have a moon rocket or a space shuttle on.
International Space Station, the ISS. The shuttle made 37 flights to construct the station, which is larger than an American football.
The pond and going over there, the SpaceX workers were complaining that he was walking through their work area and stopping their job, stopping their progress. So NASA says, oh, we'll fix that for you. Now that is the Atlantic Ocean. We launch these rockets east with the rotation of the Earth over unpopulated Atlantic Ocean. Remember from your science class when you learned that the Earth rotates on its axis at the equator at 1,035 miles an hour. Picture the most historical launch pad in the world. There it is with the vehicle assembly building in the background. Every astronaut that walked on the moon, just 12 in the whole wide world to this day. This is where they left from, right here. Now this is not what the launch pad looked like during the Apollo days. It was a clean pad configuration, more like B down here. We modified these launch pads for over 30 years. When we were launching space shuttles, this is what the launch pads looked like. 82 shuttles lifted here from A, 53 from B. 135 total. Got to see every one of them. I did get
When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying through space. Every week on TV, I'd watch my heroes when they jumped into their rocket ships and took to the stars. And I wanted to be like them.
Up and down Cocoa Beach, which adjoins Cape.
This is the firing room. Launch control for the Apollo mission. This is not a mock-up. These are the very consoles we sat at when men first took off to fly to the moon. The tragedy of Apollo 1 had put us a year and a half behind. We were making up for it in one big leap. And we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before. It is one of those rare moments when history is not being made, destiny is being embraced.
This is launch control. T-minus 3 minutes and counting. We've completed our communications checks with the Apollo 8 astronauts in the cabin, and the communications are go. During this period, once we do get the firing command, the various tanks begin to pressurize. We have firing command. The firing command is in. We are now on the automatic sequence. T-minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Our status report indicates that all aspects are ready. Instrument unit is ready. Spacecraft ready. Final check of the emergency detection system. That ready, like also first stage preparations are completed.
All systems were ready, okay.
Keep going. We're on. Ready to go to Cronkite. Stand by, motor. Okay, you're on.
All systems go. T-minus
25 seconds and counting. First stage upper oxygen tank has been pressurized and the pressures. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports coming from Frank Bowman at this time. Final look at the switch list aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds, all aspects. We are still low at this time. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9,
For one incredible moment, we are one people with one history.
వాళ్ళకి పడితేనే 3 గంటలకి 20 minutes ఛార్జ్ అయింది.
Provide continuous power for the round-trip journey. A lander craft will carry the crew from their orbit above Mars down to the planet's surface.
చేపెట్టి ఇక్కడ చూపించడానికి
Take a look at all of this in our solar system. Now, if you are looking for the 3D IMAX movie, they are going to be down the hall and to the right in Galaxy. So we're looking at that right now. You can see that very milky color in the middle area. Now, all of the area that's outside of there that looks like it's stars are actually galaxies themselves with billions of stars, possibly billions of planets, such as miles or kilometers to measure distance. Instead, we use light years. So Alpha Centauri is our closest solar neighbor in our own galaxy. And now,
sun.
Now this is our sun. Now our sun is what we call a yellow dwarf star for size, not distance. But I mentioned our sun's pretty average size. That's compared to other stars. Now for our solar system, our sun makes up 99% of the mass, 99% of the stuff in our solar system. Your screen? Yes. It is Mercury. Now normally this is guessed as the moon. And they do look very similar. Now because Mercury is the closest planet to our sun, its atmosphere was turned off billions of years ago. Those atmospheres help protect planets as well as keep them warm. This is my guess. This is Venus. Now we are looking at Venus with radar so we can see the surface because opposite of Mercury, Venus has a very thick, dense, gaseous atmosphere. So again, opposite of Mercury, it is Earth. I like to call it home. The astronauts like to call it the blue marble. But this is where we are. Now this is what Earth looks like. We are built at 23.5 degrees. Gives us those nice seasons. We don't get those here in Florida. This is our whole winter today. We all know that. Now Earth is pretty special though in our solar system because of all of that blue stuff, that liquid water. Earth is in what we call the Goldilocks area, where we're not too hot, not too cold, but just right to keep all of that water liquid. And as far as we know, liquid water is fine, but this is airplanes over a 24-hour period. So as you can see, as it gets closer to midnight from my side, it starts to slow down. But then when it gets daytime, it goes a lot faster. You have a lot more planes. Now on average, there's about 5,000 airplanes in the sky. And I'm sure many of you got on one of those airplanes to come here. Did not make anything up inside of the moon. Sorry, Bigfoot, we do look at the dark side of the moon now. Now, due to volcanic activity millions of years ago, and lava that got hardened, as well as the rotation of the moon, we do only look at that dark side. But we finally saw the far side of the moon, as well as walked on it. On my side, you'll see some numbers. Those are the Apollo landing sites. So 16, Apollo 16. The S stands for the surveyors. Now, we're very curious about Mars. Mars, we found evidence of rivers and oceans, but what happened to them? What killed Mars? Could the same figure that out are already alive, maybe even in this room, goes in between Mars and Jupiter. We're looking at the biggest piece. It's Ceres. Ceres is a dwarf planet, similar to what Pluto was classified as. Now that asteroid belt is not giant. Now Jupiter is big. We could fit over 1,000 Earths inside Jupiter. And I mentioned a bit earlier that Sun makes up 99% of all the mass, all the stuff in our solar system, leaving just 1 little percent for the rest of us. Well, out of that 1%, Jupiter takes up 70% of that. Known for all the volcanoes. There is Callisto, the greater body in our solar system. I think Jeff was quite great though. And one we are very curious about, Europa. Now, if it looks like Europa has cracks on it, because it does. Those are cracks in ice. Europa has a very big Saturn in it. It's okay, the rings just fell down. Now, the rings of Saturn are quite well known. It is not the only planet though with rings, just the biggest and most beautiful. Now, those rings go out pretty far, but they're actually not very thick, only about 1 kilometer. They're made up of pieces as small as a grain of sand and chunks as large as a bus. But for Saturn itself, pretty interesting planet, very big, but very, very light. So light that if we had a bathtub big enough, Saturn would float in it.
Atlantis Space Shuttle. Space Shuttle experience అయిపోయింది. వెనకాల ముందు Space Shuttle Atlantis. చాలు చాలు రండి. అరే వాళ్ళు చేయడం తీయలేదురా పోలు వాళ్ళు తీసా కదా చాలు. బాబులో అరగంట నుంచి వెయిటింగ్. చందు పడుతుంది మండిపోతుంది. Finally we are leaving Windham Creek.
Next
Bonnet
left
Creek.
turn. Then immediate
21st
right turn.
December 2016. End of vacation.
2016.
Vacation ends today. We're going home, okay? Bye, babies.
I'm not your baby.
What are you?
I helped you. Okay?
Oh yeah, you're a big kid, yes.
Yeah.
You helped me a lot in moving stuff, right?
Exit right onto 4 East.
So, ఇంకా 2 hours ఉంది ఇక్కడ